Hey Nick, I'm going to try to jump in here. I had sent you a comment earlier, a text comment on your posting about the LaRouche pack plan, um, and it I don't know what happened to it. You know, I was gone all day and I just got back and it's not there, so it's gone off into the ether somewhere. So I thought I'd just try this video to get back to you about LaRouche. About the LaRouche proposals. My dad used to say to this is what my dad used to tell me about LaRouche because my dad, you know, he was a monetary reformer back in the '60s, you know, when and the '70s when there weren't many of them out there. So my dad communicated with the LaRouche group on a regular basis, and he used to tell me this. Is what he used to tell me about them. He used to say, you know, Joey, they get everything that's wrong with the money system right. He says they got it. They know what's wrong with the money system. They got that part down right. He says, but for the part that, you know, we need to be getting right about the money system, how to get it right, he says they get that all wrong. And, you know, so to me, their proposal for the, you know, the Hamiltonian, you know, model, you know, for you know the first bank in the United States, second bank in the United States, and all of that kind of stuff. You know, my dad's analysis of it, um, you know, more parallels really the Austrians, you know, view because it was really a kind of one, kind of the early version of the PIP program, public-private partnership. Really, I mean, that's how my dad looked at it. He said, you know, the government was supposed to had to come up with its share of the capitalization for the bank and came up with its share and then provided it and then the bankers took advantage of the governments and really never provided their share of capitalization and you know and as a result they reaped the benefits more soundly than did the government. And it was a failure by design. So to me, the fact that the LaRouche people are out there trying to say that we should take the Hamiltonian model, you know, as their model for reform. I'm back to what my dad said about it, you know, they got what we need to do wrong. They've got that wrong. And then having said that, you know, I want to say that, you know, so then who's, you know, so what do we got to do right? You know, we got the Ron Paul people out there. My dad also used to communicate with Ron Paul back in the early days, you know, because Ron Paul was an outspoken, along with Jim McDermott, very few either state or national legislators that were talking about the need to reform the monetary system. And, you know, my dad used to say, you know, well, Ron Paul is kind of like the Andrew Jackson, you know, of the day, you know, and probably Ron Paul would stand up and say, right on. But my dad said, their problem is this: they want to crash. They want to crash, you know, the private money creation cartel, you know, uh, but they don't want to put in place, you know, what needs to be put in place. They want to walk away from it, you know. And Jackson did walk away from it, and you know, whether we had, you know, at that point what you might call free banking or not, that's a, you know, the monetary historians, you know, debate that. Wildcat banking, you know, was it what kind of a system did we have during those years prior to the Civil War when we actually got the legal tender acts and we actually produced greenback dollars, you know, that actually served the needs of the country and its peoples. Um, so that we have, you know, we have the Ron Paulists, you know, of the day, you know, again correctly identifying what's wrong with the system, but really failing to put out. But anyway, the good part about it to me is that as long as we can agree on a couple of things, you know, what's wrong, you know, and then try to be clear, try to clarify actually what is wrong. You know, where is the problem? Where is the you know, kind of the corruption of our political process and our social economic process and all of that stuff, and how come we can have a money system that has a solution, if you will, the jobless recovery. You know, people don't need to work. You know, people need to work. You know, the money system's coming back. You know, the banking system's coming back. No, we don't need jobs. Yeah, we want to be able to talk about that. So I'm glad that, you know, we would have that opportunity, and I'm glad that you raised the because that's something that has to be debated, something has to be discussed. I hope we can do it in a very clear and very open and very candid, way, and talk about the future more than the past. Talk about the past, for its points of reference, but let's talk about the future. Why do we think what we think is the right thing to do is the right thing to do? Okay, I'll go back to that. So anyway, Nick, that's my comment there about the LaRouche's thing. I appreciate it. Thanks.